COVID-19 pandemic has forced governments to shut their borders to contain the spread of coronavirus, which has had a huge negative impact on the tourism sector. Summer is the busiest and most profitable time of year for most businesses in the tourism industry, and often the only profitable time of year. In 2020 alone, tourist traffic will be down 20 to 30% according to the World Tourism Organization. How will coronavirus affect summer tourism? International summer holidays are the norm for many, especially Europeans, and Europe is home to 3 of the top 5 most visited countries in the world, which are France, Spain and Italy. On the 13th of May, Economics Affairs Commissioner Paolo Gentiloni said, "Our message is we will have a tourist season this summer, even if it's with security measures and limitations." Tourism as we know it won't come back until we have a vaccine for coronavirus, but we can expect to see it come back in phases. The first phase will be regional tourism. Once non-essential travel is allowed, it will be restricted in most places to a radius of between 5 and 50 kilometres, if restricted at all. We can expect this to last until mid-June in most countries. The next phase will be national travel, which will have no restrictions on travel within the country, but mandatory quarantines for international travel, and will last until the start of July. Some countries have remained in this phase, which can be seen from flight cancellation data. Then governments will create groups of nations that citizens can travel freely between. These groups will vary based on citizenship and negotiations between nations, and spikes in infection rates will send nations back to previous phases. If an adequate treatment is developed, which will reduce the mortality of COVID-19, we can expect to see these groups grow bigger. The final phase will see people who have received vaccination or have passed an antibody test receive immunity passports, and these tourists will have the most freedom where they can travel. This phase will only begin when an effective vaccine or antibody test is developed. The tourism sector will only return to normality, whatever normal may be, once the disease has been almost completely eradicated. Public parks and beaches will be among the first public amenities to open. In certain small parks and urban areas, one-way walking systems will apply, and picnic tables and toilets will remain closed. Playgrounds and outdoor exercise machines may open later in the year, and some will be sanitised regularly by council workers. Hand sanitation stations will be installed, and paths will be widened to encourage social distancing. Shops that are popular with tourists, such as gift shops and convenience stores, will implement one-way walking systems, limit the amount of people allowed in the shop, install hand sanitation stations and plastic screens between employees and customers, and widen aisles. Shops that are too small to allow people in will display their most profitable products in their front window if they have one, and customers will order products without entering the store. A 72-hour quarantine will apply to clothing that was tried on but not bought. Hotels will reopen in phases, starting with reduced capacity, the introduction of regular sanitising of common surfaces, keeping event and meeting centres closed, and not offering room service. Only packaged food will be served at the beginning, and fresh food will return as soon as the hotel's restaurant opens again. Most hotels will introduce online check-in and check-out, allowing customers to simply show up at the desk and get their key immediately, without queuing, minimising contact between the employee and other guests. Leisure facilities will be reopened according to local recommendations, and other entertainment facilities will remain closed until winter at least. Guests will be asked to follow a one-way system, and doors around the hotel will remain open where possible. Non-essential workers will be asked to work from home. Theme parks such as Disneyland, Universal Studios and Legoland will all reopen differently according to local regulations, but they will all follow similar guidelines. There will be no valet parking, and car parks will have more room between spaces. Visitors will receive a temperature check on entry, and no one with a temperature above 100.4 degrees will be allowed to enter, including employees. Face masks will be encouraged and possibly mandatory. Capacity will be limited, and employees who come into contact with customers will wear PPE. Social distancing will be enforced in all areas from restaurants to queues, and surfaces will be regularly sanitised. Universal has announced that they will make face masks mandatory and offer them free of charge to employees and visitors. They will turn off water and mist elements, and different parties will be distanced on rides. Employees of theirs will be required to take regular hand washing breaks, wear face masks, and space themselves at least 6 feet apart. They will also be asked to monitor their temperatures at home. Signage will be installed throughout the park to encourage social distancing. Universal's plan could be a model for other theme parks. Disney Springs in Florida announced similar measures, including the installation of hand sanitization stations across the park, no scheduled entertainment, and mandatory face coverings. A number of trade bodies representing the hospitality industry have produced guides for the government and members on how to reopen restaurants safely. Restaurants should be able to reopen in June provided they follow these guidelines. Here's how it'll work. You'll have to book your table before arriving, and when you do arrive, you will either wait outside or in a large empty waiting area. You may be asked to wash your hands before you enter, or wear a face mask. The first thing you'll notice when you enter the restaurant will probably be the smell, since every seat, table, door handle, and common surface will be sanitized so frequently. You'll be brought to your seat by a waiter who will maintain social distancing and probably wear a face mask and gloves, and either give you single-use menus to read, ask you to read the menu off a phone, have the menu read to you, or read the menu off a wall in the restaurant. The menu may be somewhat smaller than beforehand, as restaurants will try to increase profitability by removing less profitable menu items and employ less kitchen staff. You'll be asked to order online, by text, or possibly in person. The restaurant will be quieter than normal because there will be fewer tables in the restaurant, which will all be distanced out. You'll be told where the toilets are and how to get there because there will probably be a one-way walking plan to minimise contact, and they don't want people just walking around spreading corona. Your table won't have any salt, pepper, ketchup, or anything like that, and if you want some you'll have to request it, and it'll only be available in disposable packets. When you're done your meal, you'll be encouraged to pay by card and contactless where possible, and cash tips may be forbidden. Restaurants, especially those in the city where rent is higher, will have a separate part of the building where customers can collect takeaway orders, or may not open at all because they couldn't maintain profitability while respecting social distancing. England's national governing body, Swim England, has said, research is currently being carried out across the globe on the contamination time of COVID-19 in a replicable swimming pool environment. This scientific information, alongside government guidance, will inform our guidance on how facilities could operate during the current pandemic. On web pages giving pandemic advice, the American Centers for Disease Control say, there is no evidence that the virus that causes COVID-19 can be spread to people through the water in pools, hot tubs, spas, or water play areas. The chlorine in pool water deactivates corona, so closer monitoring of chlorine levels will be required. We can assume from this that pools will be treated just like any other indoor recreational area and reopened with precautions such as reduced capacity to maintain social distancing. Hi guys and girls, hope you like this video. If you want to be part of a really exclusive club, I mean really exclusive, there's only like 5 people in it, subscribe to me and you'll be one of the few people to actually subscribe to me. Like in a couple of years when I'm big and famous, you'll be able to say, oh yeah, I subscribed to him way back in 2020, man. So yeah, I have a bunch of other good videos coming out, even better than this. Hopefully I'll just get better at video editing and spend more time at it. Yeah, anyway, look, do like and subscribe and smash the like button. And yeah, peace.